name's Nick Anderson. I work with Anderson Fruit. We grow cherries in the Dalles, Oregon. I think the third day I was ever born, I was on the front pack with my mom in a packing house. I've always been around agricultural and cherries. Here at Anderson Fruit, I have a vast amount of jobs I do. I do anything from starting to do bookkeeping to keeping up with the new regulations that are coming on us every year for farming. I take care of our global gap every year so we're certified so we can deliver to our packing shed. I also do all the maintenance around our own farm. I also help run our orchard during harvest and set the crews up, figure out what we're picking that day, how much we're bringing into the packing shed, and how much we should be delivering in a day. Back when my parents planted their orchard, they did 40 acres of pears and roughly 60 acres of cherries. Due to down in the valley that we have, it's so wet that we couldn't keep fire blight out of the pears. So we ripped those out and then we just went to all cherries. When I was a kid, every kid in our family would raise their hand when my dad said, "Oh, I gotta go do water." We'd all raise our hand and say, "I'll go, I'll go." We used to bicker and argue who got to go do water with Dad. And usually you had to be fair and take one of us each night. But that was one of our favorite things to do. Or on bad years, we'd have what my dad would call a free Saturday. And heaven forbid you have bad years in farming. And we'd all go pull brush that day, and it would be a free Saturday. That you pull brush from first thing in the morning until night, and then you go home, and that's how work is. Free Saturdays were when everyone in the family would go work, because that was for the good of the farm, to help out and pay our dues. So everyone would do that, work hard. At the end of the day, we'd all go home, hang out, and we have a really close family, so when we all worked together on those days, it wasn't hard, intense labor. It was having fun, joking with your dad, joking with your brothers, pulling brush, hanging out. It just made the day, it was a fun day. It was still work, but it was fun. The nice thing about having an orchard in the Dalles, Oregon, is you can always call someone and say, "Hey, we need 10 more pickers." And usually someone will spare them, or we'll do the same to someone. You can kind of share pickers. People are there to help out. Or if you're working on a piece of equipment and you just can't figure it out, you can call someone, they'll come over, usually even drop the thing they're doing, drive right over, and they'll come help you. It is phenomenal that we have a nice community like this in agricultural, and they can just help. Everyone kind of helps each other, even though we all are super busy, but it is nice to have that support system and community. The thing I can ever say is you attend any OSHA meeting and you attend any meeting that is put on to help you with regulations, because at all times you never know what new regulation is coming through, and it's just so hard to keep up with all of them. We have a lot of little programs you do, and just like you said, I do have certain folders for my global gap. I have ones for my maintenance that I write anything I ever do. I have ones for spray records, everything. I have just books, and they're all labeled, and I have them dated, and it's all organized from the last record I just did. And then after that year is over, I pull those out, put them in another book that is older, and I always keep my current ones there. And it's just, I think organization is your key for making sure you're on top of things. And then also, do not procrastinate. When you are putting a spray record in, don't wait till 4 days later. Our first challenge is always labor in the field. It is making sure you have enough people. And I mean, that is always going to be farming's #1 issue, is having enough labor to help you with your picking and everything. But our next one would be, I mean, you got to make sure you have a good spray program, a good fertilizer program, and also I would say you need to have a really good pruning program. I mean, pruning is a big key on how much fruit quality you're going to have, the tonnage versus size kind of thing. So it's very important to have those 3 things. Why I want to farm is because when every kid's little, they either want to be a superhero or a cop or a fireman or anything. When I grew up, I wanted to be just like my dad. I thought my dad was the coolest man ever. I thought my mom was the hardest working lady I'd ever seen. All my brothers worked hard, and for me it was, I wanted to not disappoint my brothers, work hard, and farming for me is, you get to be a jack of all trades. One day you could be welding and fixing equipment, and a couple days later you might be building a new workbench for your shop or building a shop. Or you have in your picker cabins a toilet break, so you have to be a plumber that day. I mean, you have so many fun things to do, and so I think a young person that is ambitious, that wants to learn new things, I think they would love to job shadow a farmer and kind of really see what they get to do in a day's work. It's not just farming. It's not just a job, it's an 8 to 5 job. For me, farming's a life.